We'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccaneers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Bruton, once he took over Richard McCann, and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccaneers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccaneers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Welcome into the Buccaneers. Very, very special edition on a Mancave Monday here with Zach and I. We're wasting no time, pulling no punches. Everybody's driving fast to get to the pregame of Bucs Lions, and here we are, Monday Night Football, Battle of the Behemoths. And speaking of behemoths, we got some behemoths on today's show. Our great friend Jason Harwood over at the Talking Grit podcast, friend of the programs, was on last week. Was a great time. I went on over there with him and Jacob as well, the J&J combo, we call it. Going to be an exciting one tonight. Jason, thanks for joining us, brother. Yeah. How the heck are you? I know it's a Monday, it's a rush Monday, but thanks for coming.
No, man, this is the exciting part. I'm glad to be on with you. The nerves start going right now, right? We're getting into it. I was able to eat a little bit of dinner, so I'll be healthy and not pass out during this game, hopefully.
Yeah, get that dinner in you. We might need some heart medication for this one, especially Bucs fans all over the globe out there. But glad to have you, brother. And Zach, of course, before we get to game talk, we did have some very sad news yesterday. As Richard mentions, he left work early, and rest in peace, Doug Martin. Very tragic. Doug Martin has left us at 36 years old. Of course, we're not sure of the details yet, but regardless, Zach, whatever happened, just tragic, sucks, way too young. And that's the fourth person from the Bucs 2013 team, I believe, that has left us now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It's always sad when you hear about somebody that's younger than you passing. There's so much life left, and Doug always seemed like he had such a positive aura about him. So it's very sad to hear, and thoughts and prayers out to his family. That's rough.
Yesterday we lost two 35-year, well, Martin 36, but baseball lost Jesus Montero, 35 years old, in a motor vehicle accident as well. Sorry about the music. We turned it down. It is ready to roll now. It should be good to go. Speaking of good to go, Igbuka, surprisingly, Jason, is back. It was kind of a last-minute thing. Saturday, he got entered into the practice, and a lot of people were surprised at that. I thought there was no chance he was playing. Zach, I don't think you thought he was going to suit up as well, but this Bucs team ends up trotting him out there. Jason, what are Lions fans kind of saying about this late emergence of Igbuka being ready to roll?
Yeah, that coupled with Evans going, our secondary is going to be tested. Our backup secondary, that is. It's fine. We got to play. We're going to have to play and do our thing, but that is not the best news if you're a Lions fan.
Zach, they get healthy as well. So we get Igbuka back. They get a Lee McNeil back on the defensive line. Couple late injury returnees here, Zach. But good to see, to me, both of these teams at least getting a couple of the cavalry back. I know both teams are still a bit banged up and shorthanded. Bucs offensive line, Lions secondary specifically, but at least some cogs are back on both of these squads.
Yeah, it's going to be a chess game, really, to see how Detroit brings its pressure to offset the patchwork secondary. So we got to hold it down up front to be able to take advantage of that secondary issues that Detroit's having. So if we can keep Hutchinson at bay, I know we're not going to stop him completely, but we just have to be able to slow him down to take advantage of that, or it might be a moot point. He ran all over us last time, 4.5 sacks, I believe. So we got to make sure we shore that up to let Baker have that time to get the ball to Mike and Emeka.
Yeah, Michael Jordan is probably going to start today, but we should see. Not the Bulls, Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan, Buccaneers. It would be their fifth different right guard of the season already if Michael Jordan did end up playing at right guard. He has started on left guard, but that'll be interesting. As we alluded to, Aiden Hutchinson probably going to line up on the right side a lot, facing Michael Jordan and Charlie Heck potentially. But Jason, the inactives are out. Detroit's inactives are Terrion Arnold, who we expected, Quentin Jefferson, Kirby Joseph, Avante Maddox, Jamie Robinson, Mekai Wingo, Sione Vaki, and also, obviously, Brian Branch suspended. Thoughts on the suspension and the inactives list today for the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, none of the inactives that were out there were pretty much expected for Lions. Losing Kirby Joseph, that was come out on Saturday that he, definitely wasn't going to play. I mean, that basically means we don't have any starters in our, our secondary. I will say, however, though, Amik Robinson is our nickel, is a very good outside corner. Handled Jamar Chase for the Bengals, and then last year Justin Jefferson. So I feel comfortable with him out there. Rock Ya-Sin is good, but they're both going to give up height to Mike Evans, and that kind of scares me a little bit. And we'll see how healthy Emeka Egbuka is. With the hamstring, you never know. They might tighten up at some point. I'm sure that they're fully aware of where to push him and where to go with him. But that's something that I'll be watching to see how he does. But Aiden Hutchinson's going to have to ball out, and we get a lean back, as you mentioned earlier. That's going to help the pass rush, definitely the interior pass rush, which, is we're going to need some. We're going to need some players somewhere.
Yeah, he got that big contract last year, deservingly so, then suffered that scary season-ending injury. So he's back. You'd maybe expect him and Igbuka to be on pitch counts, potentially. Specifically Igbuka, maybe a Lee McNeil with his practice window open. Maybe he gets involved a little more. But I don't think the Lions or Bucs are going to push these guys by any means if they're not ready to give it a go. Zach, I do expect Igbuka to primarily be on a pitch count, maybe Evans a little bit too, and the rest of the Bucs inactives are Brewer, CJ Brewer, that is, Sebastian Castro, Chris Godwin, as expected, Luke Haggard, Bucky Irving, Kendall Vildor, Jason, we talked about him a little
Mhm.
bit, but with the Bucs getting healthy in the secondary, he finds his way inactive, former Lion, and then Josh Williams, Zach. So kind of an expected inactives list with the return of Igbuka, but it stinks. I would have liked to see Vildor play against Detroit. And quickly, JLo says, thanks for joining us, Jason. Welcome back.
Good.
Yeah, Vildor was a little bit of a surprise after how he played last week. I thought we might see him again in some capacity, but the one thing about having too many good corners is you can't sort of dress them all on game day. So I think I'd rather have Zion and Morrison out there.
Ash is in, defending his Lions, saying Baker might have a scramble or two, but nothing major. We defended Lamar well. Yeah, and well, I would never compare Baker's legs to Lamar's legs, but that is a good compliment. So we do appreciate that. What makes them a little different is a lot of Baker's runs kind of come unexpected out of thin air, right? You're not really looking for Baker to make that maneuver, where Lamar, you're game planning it a little more. Now, I'm not saying the Lions won't be able to contain Baker, but he's not a run first guy. So if he scrambles, it's because the play broke down and he kind of needed an emergency, whereas Lamar is probably looking to run first a lot. But Jason, the game is in Detroit. It's a little earlier kickoff than normal. What are the vibes in the town of Detroit right now at Ford Field? I'm sure vibes are high.
Yeah, we're ready for this one. We're ready to get that loss last week out of our mouth. We're going to bye week next week, so we're ready to get a win. Dan Campbell hasn't had 2 straight losses in a single season, and since like 2 years. It's been over 2 seasons. I think 2022 was the last season we had 2 consecutive losses. So we're ready to play. This team is resilient. We're doing our black jerseys today. It's blackout. There's a whole new lighting scheme in Ford Field today. It looks really cool. Sad I won't be up there, but it's going to be a lit environment up there. It'll be loud. It's going to be loud. They'll be on a silent count for sure. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, Campbell doesn't lose, and we alluded to this last week on either your show or my show, Jason, but I was saying how, yeah, Campbell's had this game circled for a while, and that's scary, and he has it double circled coming off a loss as well, right? So there's 2 reasons why Campbell is going to be pissed off today, and deservingly so, and Matt Kratz is saying, boys, enjoying the podcast today, as always, regardless of winner. Going to be a good game tonight, and Zach, I think one important thing we have to remember that regardless win or lose for either one of these teams, although the NFC North is shaping up to be probably the tougher division, but I think Lions, Bucs end up fine at day's end. I think this is going to be a competitive battle, Zach, where both of these teams might meet back up come January or February.
Yeah, there's a high probability that we see this team again. And hopefully we're both a little healthier at that second time, but I think we'll see each other again.
I do too. Ash says week 8, 2022 was our last consecutive loss. So it's been pretty much 3 seasons now. That's a lot of football games. I think that's been 17 games scheduled since. So say roughly 51 football games, let's roughly say, about since the Lions have lost consecutive contests, which is pretty insane, Jason. And today, being home, the spread has shot up to 6.5. Now it's dipping back down to 6 a little bit, but it's still higher than what it opened as. And my sports book won't even work right now. It's like, what are you good for if you're not going to work on Monday Night Football? But maybe that's a sign to tell me, hey, take this one off. But regardless, Jason, it does show the confidence in the Detroit Lions that the spread has went up. It opened at about 3-4, I believe, and now it's up to 6.
That shocks me, to be honest with you. I think that this is a closer matchup than that. I know that, Vegas numbers aren't necessarily, they're trying to push the bets to even up the bets, but I am kind of surprised that it is that high, especially with our secondary being banged up, and then you guys getting the good news of Ibuka coming back and Mike Evans going to play. I mean, that's definitely gives you an advantage there. Maybe if it was in Tampa Bay, the spread would be the exact opposite. I don't know if it's the home field thing. I mean, it's usually not 6 points for home field, but I just can't I don't really figure it. I mean, these teams are more evenly matched. And Tampa Bay's you're 5-1, right? And we're
Mhm.
4-2 heading in. So I can't explain it. We'll see. I don't expect. I expect it to be, definitely one score. And I think you said this, Tampa, last possession. Whoever gets the ball last is gonna win this.
That's what I'm thinking, as well as we are live here with Jason for about 10 more minutes or so previewing Bucs Lions on the pregame show. Tongue twister right there. A lot of shows and so's, as Ash says, typical bets site being down, lose money on the Bucs anyway. Hey, whatever, man. Now if the Bucs win, I'm still going to be naturally high regardless. And if they lose, I save some money. So, Zach, not the end of the world there, my friend. I do think it will be a good game. 4 a.m. your time, covering it for my UK Lions podcast. Well, there you go. That's incredible that you are up and at it and ready to roll at 4 a.m. So we know the feeling. Bucs playing overseas in years past, it works a little bit reverse, but we're glad you could be joining us right now. We are live here on the Buccaneers. Hit that like button, subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on. Zach, last pregame prediction for this Bucs Lions game. This game will end in blank.
Heart attack. That's just what I'm preparing for. I think it's going to be a lot of offense. I think it's going to be a handful of defensive plays. It's just going to be the right team making the right play at the right time. I think it's going to be a last possession type of a game. And I don't want to say who wants it more because I know they both want it, but it's just going to be one of those plays. And let's hope that it's a safe game and the officials stay out of it.
Yeah, and Ash mentioned it earlier as well. Hopefully the officials don't overturn our trick plays. And I talked with the Talking Grit guys about the refs not only admitting they're wrong to the Lions guys a couple weeks back now, but they also did the same to Baker and the boys against the Jets for Ibuka's catch. Remember that, Zach? Baker was on Mark Sanchez's pod, not to chuckle, but I don't think that might have been the last episode of that podcast. I don't know. There might have been one or two after that. But regardless, Baker was on there, and he pretty much said the refs said it was a catch, but New York isn't reviewing it. So we're in this predicament where, hey, maybe we'll either both get screwed by the refs tonight, or hopefully it's a ladder where neither of us get screwed by the Zebras tonight. But they've just been awful. If you watch any NFL college football game this year, it's been terrible, very bad stuff. But Jason, if you had to predict how this game ends, you could either give a score. You don't have to give a score, but what you're expecting tonight, 7:00 Eastern, Ford Field, Bucs Lions.
All right, I can't pick against my Lions, so I'm going to say the Lions win. I will say I give a prediction that we go for fourth down at least 3 times in this game. I know that maybe not a big surprise, but this is one of those games that Dan Campbell's going to try to protect the defense a little bit, and if we could extend offensive drives, that's what he's going to do. So I think it is, definitely going down to the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter starts, we're not going to know the outcome of this game, and I'm not convinced that we're going to hit the over. I know these are 2 high-scoring offenses, but I'm wondering if Dan Campbell, just starts trying to run the ball to, we had a 10-minute drive to start out the Kansas City game. I'm thinking it's another thing, like keep the ball out of Baker's hand so he can't destroy us. He can't carve us up.
Yeah, and this is a game that's been happening a handful of times the past couple of seasons, dating back to 2 seasons ago. The Lions currently hold a 2-1 record against the Bucs, one of those being a playoff win, one of them being a creamsicle return game for the Bucs a couple of years back, and then the Lions ended up faltering in a close one last year at Ford Field early on in the football season. So these 2 teams are back and forth. And Jason, I think you make a good point with the fourth downs. That is Danny Campbell's specialty, right? He's always going to try and exploit the fourth down weakness. And Zach, quickly, but last year in the Redskins or Commanders football team, whatever the hell you call them, that playoff game with the Bucs, we saw them go for it on fourth down a bunch and kind of tire this defense down a little bit, and later on we're able to capitalize and win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the best way to keep Baker from, coming back on you is to not give him the ball. So I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. I think 3 times is a little low, honestly. I feel like we might see it 3 times in the first half.
Okay.
I don't really think that Campbell's going to want to put his punter out there at all. I think he's going to keep his foot on the gas and try to put this game away without letting Baker have a lot of opportunities.
Well, Zach, I was planning on getting first downs before we get to fourth down, so that's why I'm doing 3. Okay.
I see. That's gamesmanship right there. I see what you're doing there. So good stuff there, Jason and Zach. Jason, we have one more question, but before we get to our final words here in a minute, kind of just plug your show, tell the great people of the Buccaneers listeners, and if Lions fans are listening, seemingly Ash is. So kind of just plug the people in and tell them where they can keep up with J&J's great work over at Talking Grit.
Yeah, so YouTube is, we'll do a live show tomorrow night, recapping the game. It'll start at 9:00. Jake and I will go on there. Just like the show, we respond to comments, make it a part of the show. And then afterwards, we do an all 22 film review. If you have any plays that you want to go over, we'll do that at the very end too. And that's just kind of a fun, interactive thing. And this week's our bye. So we usually have a preview podcast later on. We're going to do like a bye week, kind of wrap up where we're at. So we'll have that later on. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. And I also want to shout out, Ash has been on our show multiple times. Very smart guy. So I'm glad he's on the show doing his thing here.
Yeah, and he's given us his well wishes. See you in the NFC Championship game. Only thing you got wrong in Ray J, right? No, I'm kidding. We'll see. We'll see who gets the battle of that one. But thank you, Ash, for joining us. That's good stuff right there. Zach, any last-minute words on our collab over here with Talking Grit? Jason, I would love to have you guys back on. I know during our bye week, it's 1 week after yours. We're going to do about 10 to 15-minute segments, quickies, with all the NFC contenders, even the NFL contenders. We'll get in some AFC guys. So I'll check in with your guys' availability as well, but we'd love to have you back. Zach, those reporter power hours are pretty fun. We're going to try one with outside Bucs personas this time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's always nice to hear the other perspective of these games. So final words, man, Jason, just remember to keep breathing, and we'll talk to you another time. Thanks for coming on and hanging out. It's cool to meet you.
Yeah.
Jason, last words for the pod, brother. And also, I hope your son's games went well, too. I know you had a couple to attend this past week. So final words, brother, for the program and thoughts on that before we bounce out.
I'm excited for this game. I love being on this podcast. We'd love to come back. Sorry that Jacob couldn't make it. Family issue came up, but you guys are great. I mean, you guys don't get enough views for the amount of knowledge that you guys do and just how cool you guys are. So I always appreciate you coming on there. You've hooked us up with other podcasters, so I am eternally grateful for you. And to wrap up, my son did score. They won their flag football championship. He scored 2 touchdowns.
Nice.
And then they won their first baseball game on Saturday. So it was a good sports week for the Hardwood households. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll help make eating this L a little bit later, a little bit easier.
Oh man, he's so emotional, and if as soon as you guys score a touchdown, he's gonna be crying already. He's just so competitive.
Yeah, and we're moments away from Zach Cohen joining us for some jersey and memorabilia talk. But Jason, thank you so much. Good luck along the way with the football, with the fall ball, all that fun stuff. And we'll talk to you in a couple weeks here, my friend. Good luck tonight, brother. To you.
Alrighty. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a good night. Not too good of a night, but a good night.
Hey, well, one of us gets to watch game number 2 or fall asleep to game number 2 happy. So there we go. Enjoy, Jason. Have a great night, brother.
See you guys. Yep.
The great Jason. From one great to another, we got the great Zach Cohen joining us now. Jersey specialist, we should say. Beautiful ones there in the background, although the season's been a little rough to this point on some of those. That's okay. Still beautiful jerseys there, my friend. Zach, thanks so much for giving us some time and joining us on a very busy Monday in the world of football, brother. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me. I completely forgot that you guys play tonight. I almost brought out my black Alex Anzalone Lions jersey. Not a Lions fan. Not a Lions fan. I am just a Gator fan, I love the jersey. So I'm glad I didn't decide to do that. I have no desire for who wins. Should be a good game, but I'm happy to be here, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, man. I've been following your Twitter account for a long time. I have a little bit of a thing for jerseys. So anywhere I can get that content, I'm always eager to find it. So you're a great follow. So if you're not following Zach on Twitter, you need to be, because he knows all the tea when it comes to the jerseys. So it's an honor to have you here and to talk to you a little bit this evening.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Are you into jerseys? I can't tell at all. I don't know what would make you say that. My gosh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
I dabble.
Appreciate that, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you tagged me a video with all your jerseys, and I watched it like 3 times looking at it. You're the Kyle Trask. That's how I knew you knew ball.
Yeah. Thanks. I get tagged in, some of those accounts that go, this Detroit fan is going viral for his man cave. And then people will tag me in those and be like, you should see this one if you think this one is nice. So it's just fun to just put that video out and get some reactions to it. So, but yeah, so enough about me. I can talk about me all day, but we're on your time. So how did you get started with this knowledge and networking to get the scoop on all these different things?
I never would have imagined that this would be what I am kind of, I guess, known for at this point. I've clearly always loved football. Some would say it's my first love. I've always loved just like uniforms and stuff. And I've had a TikTok account since 2021, maybe, but I didn't start posting about uniforms regularly on it until maybe like a year after the fact. So it's been about 3 years posting on there, and I just hit 55,000 followers, which is a really cool thing. But it's kind of allowed me over time to just, it started out pretty innocently enough, just getting like messages about like, oh, like I heard this. And I get those all the time. So, but I do my due diligence now, because every now and then you get something that turns up, whether I find out that they work for someone who might know something, or suddenly I'm getting emails from people in like front offices who are like, hey, like, I see you're talking about this, wink, wink. I think you'll like what they end up doing. Like that's been a couple crazy instances too. And then just getting into contact with certain people that I can just kind of go back to, time and time again. But that usually doesn't happen until like once the season ends, because, teams start to unveil and make their announcements right before the draft. So then you've got about like a month or 2 months when all the designs, everything's definitely finalized, but also it's in the hands of like retailers or manufacturers. So it's when those people get their eyes on things that they just want to talk about what they see. And I think that's the coolest thing that's kind of happened with all this, is helping to be a part of this community where we just all love uniforms and love talking about our own team's identity, And I think one of the 2 things I get all the time is like, why should we believe you, Zach? And right. That's a fair criticism. That's valid. If you look at my follower account, you look at like no affiliation with the uniform site or anything. I totally get that. And I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you have to believe me. At the same time, I think maybe my track record hopefully speaks for itself. The other thing too is like, oh, I don't care about uniforms. That's what people comment. They're like, oh, why should I care about what the Bucs are wearing? I'm like, well, you might not, but when you think of your favorite team, you're not thinking of them naked. You're thinking of them because their uniforms, and whether it's you have a good memory when they were wearing something good, or when you have a bad memory when they were wearing something bad, like that's how you're going to associate with this team and the color scheme and the branding and what they're wearing. I'm a Dolphins fan. Maybe you can tell that. I have very ill-fated memories of the Dolphins in their Ronnie Brown, Gus Farrow, Chad Pennington era uniforms that lots of fans want to see come back. It's honestly probably similar to the creamsicles for Bucs fans. Because as amazing as they are, I know there is a whole faction of that fan base is like, hey, I'm glad to wear it for 1 week. But like, my God, I'm traumatized seeing these back on the field, because as y'all know, Tampa Bay stunk in those uniforms. So I know I kind of rambled a lot there, but it's all just to say this has been really, really fun. I love talking to people about uniforms. I love hearing what other people have to say. And I think the best part is that there's no right answer. So we could talk about it all the live long day.
Yeah, we can. And uniforms are a great part of the game. I love it. I love the helmets. I love the jerseys, all that good stuff. So, speaking to you, my friend, what is your all-time favorite football uniform, and what is your least favorite football uniform of all time if you had to choose?
The first one off the top of my head is the Houston Oilers throwbacks. I wouldn't even say the throwbacks, just like the Houston Oilers uniforms, period. I did like the like powder blue helmet shell, I think, better than the white one, but the white one's kind of become more iconic. They brought it back. I think that to me is just the best because the color scheme was great and it's pretty timeless. I know Texans and Titans fans get all up in arms about who should own it and whatnot. That's a whole other conversation. I love how they look. My least favorite, I think, has got to be, those Commanders uniforms right now are an atrocity. Just the design inconsistencies on the whites and the blacks, like they're bad. I think my least favorite is the panel era Buffalo Bills. And if you look up like Buffalo Bills, JT Lossman, that's what you will get. Is they have like the navy panel on the back and like the navy and like silver stripe down the middle. It's ridiculous. So I think that's my least favorite. I see Nick right here saying announce the pewter jersey coming back. We could get to that in a little bit, but that's mine.
Yeah, I really can't stand the red, black fade Atlanta Falcons jersey. I just think it's a monstrosity, and they should just clean it with fire. It's awful.
So yeah, gradient has not necessarily gone over well at all in the NFL, and I think we'll start to see teams realize that, whether they have features that they want to get rid of or just decide to not do them, which thank goodness, because that was looking like that could be a trend for a little bit.
Yeah, I will say I do like the rivalry jerseys so far. One of the little details that I really, really dig about them are the rubberized logos on the sleeves, which is kind of similar to how the Pro Bowl's been doing the last few years. Like the Bills had like that cracked ice one, and then the Cardinals had the state of Arizona on the patches on the sleeves. Those are really nice. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that the Bucs go in some sort of direction similar to that. I like the little details that really make it pop. That's why my favorite Bucs is the alarm clock, and I know most people hate those.
You like those?
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.
I appreciate that they're so different than anything, and they photograph really nicely with the 3M, so it does make for a nice man cave picture.
It's always an interesting push and pull because everyone seems to want, especially now with like lots of teams, the second helmet shell rule coming back and teams getting different color helmets. Like, that's great. I'm all for nostalgia, and a lot of these colors that popped in like the 80s and 90s and then got more muted to come back. Like, I'm all for bringing back the older designs. But my reluctance with bringing things back that are permanent kind of goes to like your point about trying something new. If we keep bringing back what was done in the past, design is not going to progress. You're not going to get to a point where you like know what really is new. And that's just common design principles. The New York Giants, for example, I feel like not many people know that their permanent uniforms are throwbacks. They were introduced in the 90s and they brought back throwbacks, and now they're like iconic in their own way, for better or for worse. But like, okay, like where do you go from here? And then the other note to that too is you think about how bad the New York Jets are right now. When you think about this team, and this might be the worst Jets team of our lifetimes, and that's saying something. How many fans right now like just don't want to even think about what the team looks like? Wow, my ring light just went off. Well, either way, I guess my ring light's a Jets fan, so there we go. Because they brought back the throwbacks. So you risk ruining the older design by bringing it forward, even if it looks good, because you're part of how a uniform looks is the identity surrounding the team. And if Jets fans hate the current team, what's them to say like, all right, we need new everything. Like, we can't stand looking at this team, including the uniforms that we thought we liked from the past.
Yeah, and Zach, I see you have shared, I probably missed it, but the Superchargers uniforms are returning, it looks like. I see that on your X, Twitter X, whatever you call it, but those look really nifty. To me, if those look as good as picture, those are going to be some of the top uniforms in the game. Thoughts on those?
Oh yeah, I love them. I'll probably talk more about them in a separate video later this week. I just posted on TikTok reviewing the Sunshine Gold, the all yellow Chargers uniforms that I just did, and I did touch on how good those Superchargers, those navies look. Like they really, I wasn't sure if they were going to make them look as like they were going to be exact replicas of what they used to wear back in San Diego. They did, and they're perfect. Like they are fantastic. And I think one thing that helps too, especially with how people are like, oh, like these throwbacks, like they look so good now because the material, the jerseys is so much better, so much more defined. Like it really allows them to stand out a lot better. So I think that's a big thing too. I love them. You got the Chargers doing those. Eagles, Kelly Green's coming in the back this week. The Broncos announced they're bringing the Orange Crush back for 3 more times starting this week. No one is going to love the Sunday Night Football matchup, the Packers and the Steelers throwbacks, more like the Frankenstein's monster of different attributes from different eras, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So between that and those, should be a really good looking week.
Why do the Steelers keep trying to bring that back and making it a thing? They tried it in the 90s and it was awful. They look awful now. I mean, they have a much better throwback. I believe the style is called like the Batman. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, the Cape Crusaders one.
Yeah, it looks better than this yellow one.
My favorite Steelers throwback is the throwbacks they wore in like the Big Ben Hines Ward era. There's just the yellow shell, the black face mask, the black jersey, then like the yellow two-tone stripes on the side. I think they wore it with white pants mostly. That's my favorite. But I am a little happy to see the yellow shell back because I think that teams are listening more to what fans have to say. Maybe it's because fans have more access to the teams than ever before. But I have a good feeling, and there's no inkling, no hunch behind this. I have a good feeling the Steelers will bring back a yellow shell in a different fashion in the coming years.
Wow, that would be cool. And those are some of my favorites, obviously. Although I'm a Bucs fan, I do love those yellow shells. We are talking all things jersey uniforms right now with our guy, Zach Cohen. It's Zach and Zach. I just realized that we got the Zach hour here going on
the right way, Zach. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good company, right? The right way spelling, that's important. But Zach, I will say Miami Dolphins uniform-wise, I was a big fan of the orange ones. Kind of want to get your thoughts on those. If you like the Miami orange, I know they have very cool uniforms throughout, but thoughts on the Miami orange from back in the day?
I liked it when Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown was wearing it. I think the shade of aqua and the inclusion of a little bit of navy like helped offset how blatant orange can be. When they brought it back for Color Rush. The Dolphins, how many people know this? I think it was like 2017. When they redid their logo in 2013, they tweaked their orange. And in 2017, they adjusted it again to make it a little more red. The Color Rush was the one prior. So from 2013 to 2017, I might be getting my years mixed up a little bit. But it made for a not good head-to-toe orange look. So if the Dolphins are going to do it, and I reported on this back in February when I said the Dolphins were looking into a dark uniform when I first had that they had discussions internally about bringing back an orange jersey, an orange uniform of some sorts. I would be fine seeing an orange jersey brought back. Do not need the full getup. I'm good. If any team's going to look like a highlighter on the field, the Chargers in the Sunshine Gold look, okay?
There you go. What do you think of the Dolphins rivalry?
I don't like it. I was very vocal about not liking it either. And I think the big thing is there's no, like, I'm very happy that Nike decided to do something different because I think that's kind of needed. But there is still, you have to move within your brand. And the Dolphins opting for dark water, sure, good. The features of the uniform are just messy. It's inconsistent. I mean, the orange collar, and that just more has to do with the template used for the jersey. Like it sticks out like a sore thumb. Not being able to like wrap all the way around. Again, I blame the template of the jersey. Not good. The stripes on the side, like with a two-tone, like reflective teal, then the thin stripe of orange, and then a bigger thing of teal. Like it doesn't match anywhere else on the uniform. It matches on the pants, right? But like when you look at a uniform, you're usually not really focusing on what's on the pants. You're focusing more what's literally in your line of sight. So I didn't like it. I've seen much better concepts for what they could have / should have done. I will say I kind of dig the helmet, but again, they're very adamant about this being not black, that it's like a what's it? Pitch blue. It's pitch blue, which is a very, very, very dark navy. You're just opening up. People aren't talking about the uniform. They're talking about what they could have, should have been, and that's not good. That's not what you want. Just because I say this all the time, just because something has meaning doesn't mean it's good.
That's very true, very fair. And Zach, I kind of want to get an outside the box take on this, but you kind of see the NFL throwing in these rivalries jerseys. Now they're going to have games overseas every week. It seems like they're kind of adapting to a lot of other sports. And the NBA is popular with a complete different style jersey on Christmas Day. Now, I know the NFL came out with the peppermint holiday patches. Do you ever think it evolves to the point of different NFL jerseys for holiday games?
That's a good question. I have never thought about that. I feel like their reluctance in doing so would lie in how they've addressed alternate uniforms in the past. So recently, they expanded the amount of games that a team can wear alternates. So now you can have 4 alternate uniform games. If, let's say, they were to do that, like every team playing on Christmas, every team playing on Thanksgiving gets a one single uniform for that day, then you're really weeding down the other possibilities that you can showcase an alternate look throughout the season. That's already on top of the rivalries uniforms. So how that's going to work is that every team that's getting it this year will have that uniform and will wear that uniform at once, at least for now, once during the season, in addition to the 4 possible alternate uniform games. That's 5 alternate uniform games. And the NFL, as I'm sure we all know, is very protective of their identity, very protective of their brand. The rivalries program is Nike-based. So for the NFL to go and decide to do something like that, like we've seen the NBA Christmas uniforms, I just don't think there's enough room, point blank, like to make that efficiently happen while still keeping the identity that the league wants for these teams. The last thing the league wants is for fans to tune into a game too often and not really know who's playing. That happens all the time when I watch NBA these days, and I can't stand it. It's a pink uniform versus a purple uniform with 9 colors. But, like, my gosh, I don't need the Timberwolves or the Bulls doing that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I was just curious, but I was hoping so. I was hoping that specialty patches were the extent of that.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. I'm here for that.
Yeah, we're a big fan of the patches here. So 2 questions. I'll just kind of, you don't have to put a lot of detail in them. We haven't seen all the rivalry jerseys, but we've seen images of at least of them. So with that being said, which ones are in your opinion the best and the worst? And then your thoughts on the 76 throwback creamsicles.
Gotcha. So you cut out a little bit in there, but I'm assuming you're asking the best and the worst rivalries from this year?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Best, I mean, huge conversation to be had about exact. I think my favorite's the Cardinals. I thought they did that really well. I thought it stuck to their brand, but also like pushed it forward, and I thought it looked good. The worst, the Jets. I don't even think it's close. For all the nitpicking I just said about the Dolphins, I can't stand the Jets rivalries uniforms. I get trying to push that brand forward with like a super Gotham City, New York theme. I just think all the features of it are just like they don't match. It's like someone said, hey, here's 5 different ways we can get across that the Jets play amongst skyscrapers in a dark, moody city. It's just throw them all on there and see if it tells the right story. And maybe it does tell the story, but that story would get like half a star on Letterboxd. It's not good. So I personally don't like it. Again, no right answer. From the comments I've seen on my own videos, seems like a lot of people agree. Not fan favorite. And then that second question you asked was about the 76 throwbacks to all whites, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So let's tie this into what I was talking about with Zach a little bit in the DMs. I like it. I like it a lot. I still prefer like the colored jersey, the creamsicle jersey, but bringing back the white look for their 50th season this year, nice. It's a good look. Has good meaning, which is good because it looks good. So that checks that box. But that was only for 1 year. The next 20 years, the white uniforms had the red numbers. And again, probably pretty traumatizing for the fans who were around for that period. But, and I haven't posted anywhere. I was saving this just for you guys. So if you want to say a breaking rumor, let's go for it. I know for a fact that the Buccaneers have looked into bringing a new uniform to their closet. My hunch is that it would be the red jersey numbers to go onto that throwback. Could it be the all pewter look? Like maybe they got rid of it a couple years ago, and normally when teams pull off an alternate a year later, it's because they're going to try to debut one, because that uniform process takes a whole other year. So I love the Bucs uniform closet, one of the best in the league. If you said, which I'm sure you guys would, that it was the best in the league, I wouldn't argue. Top 2, top 3 for sure. I would still say that if they were to add anything, my hope would be it'd be one of those two options. Nothing too crazy. Maybe they'd want to redo the pewter look, maybe add another white trim along the numbers. I didn't really love that it was just like red on top of it, when I think the best part about the Bucs numbers now is that it has, the red and then like the creamsicle or the white and then the pewter right on the outside, like on that white jersey. So I love the Bucs uniforms. I know for a fact they've looked into adding another alternate. What that will look like, what it will replace, I'm trying to still figure out, but they've definitely internally looked into it. That's for sure.
Well, that's interesting, because Tones and I have had this conversation. They kind of played their hand, I think, a little bit when they said the 76 throwbacks will only be here for one season and we're only going to wear them on these 2 games. But then they've also kind of led into like, we want to keep the creamsicle palette, right? So now we have a home and an away version if we go to the red numbers as opposed to the creamsicle numbers on the white jersey. So it kind of makes sense that they would go that way and now have a home and away kit with those.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, that kind of sums up the reasoning right there. So I probably will post about it, if not tonight, then tomorrow. I don't know. I've been really trying to look into these other things I've heard that like I think would break the internet, or at least for NFL stuff. And it's been very push-pull, but the Commanders already talked about it, the Titans already talked about. I'm like 99% certain that there's going to be another team that I will know for sure within the next week. But there should be a lot more uniform changes. That you don't even have to like I could have said this like 4 months ago, that there's probably going to be a lot of changes for 2026, because typically it's a roller coaster. It's like a dip. This past season, no uniform rebrands. Season before, there were 5 teams. Technically 4. I consider the Browns white face mask. So I could feel like next year, I don't think the Bucs will not be changing their uniforms. They will not be, thank God. So that's my little Bucs recap for you guys. If you guys got any other questions, you know where to follow me. Hopefully, I appreciate y'all having me on.
We love it, brother. We enjoy the insight. I know I'm excited now to potentially hear that Bucs rumor maybe come to fruition, but regardless, just fun spitball and jerseys and ideas. We could do this all day, so we do hope to have you back. Zach, any last words or comments from the program as we load up for Bucs Lions Monday Night Football, brother?
Well, hopefully it's a good game. I'm not going to say I hope you guys win, but I hope you guys have a good night tonight. And if that's a win, great. This is a lot of fun. You know, I'm the same handle on Twitter, only calling it Twitter, by the way. I'm glad you brought that up. Twitter and TikTok. I have an Instagram. I don't really use Instagram. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Where is it? Cohen FB. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys having me on anytime.
Twitter just sounds much better regardless than X. And it's the OG, you know, when things change names, it's hard to adapt anyway. So we'll stick with Twitter for multiple reasons. But Zach, you are the man, my friend. Everybody go make sure they follow him. Other Zach, you are the man as well. We are the Buccaneers, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Zach, any last words, BucsBy30?
No, thanks for coming on, Zach. I appreciate it. You're a great follow, and I look forward to all the information you're going to be sharing with us here in the upcoming days.
Appreciate y'all. I can't wait to see how that man cave grows. Is it even possible? I don't even think there's room for it to grow anymore. But
I have to take a wall out. I have a whole Steelers section on the other side. You can't see it. I have, not because I'm a huge Steelers fan. I have a family member that plays for the Steelers, so it's kind of like Zach Frazier is my nephew.
Really? Are you kidding me?
No.
Third round? Or was it like pick 92?
It was second
round? Wow.
Second round, yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm from. So that's where I'm currently at.
I wanted the Dolphins to draft him so badly.
Well, you know, funny thing is, he grew up a Dolphins fan. He's actually named after Zach Thomas.
Oh my God!
There we go.
That's why he wears 50. That's why he wears 54.
That's insane.
That's the name of the hour, the name of the day, Zach.
Yeah, Zach Cube now.
Zach Frazier, Zach Johnson, our guy Zach Cohen over at the Jersey Uniform Specialist. We'll call him that. But, brothers, it's been awesome. We were also joined by Talking Grip Pod earlier in the show as well. You can catch a replay on Apple, Spotify, Google, or more. Zach and Zach, have a great night. Let's just hope for 2 fun football games tonight. That's all we could ask for.
Thanks, fellas.
Have a good one, fellas. We are. We'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
That was awesome.
It was a great game.